All right, everyone. Trying to load in here, not real sure what's going on. Everything is wacky. So we can fix this. We had a power surge right before we came on. There we go. Now you get a full view. So it looks like we got a few people in here. We got 13 people in here. There'll be some people that will watch it later. Number one of the things I wanted to talk to y'all about was our original thumbnail that was placed up was removed from mass reporting. So I had to make this one last minute so that we was able to go live. So even the channel made for the family and the kids is being mass reported. So with that being said, that frustrates me. So I got some news for you guys. Now that I have your attention, a lot of people have mistaken my quietness for weakness. I have tried to remain quiet and I have tried to stay out of this. It does no good. The lies that are told, the webs that are spun, the souls that are burning, and the forked tongues that cease to stop talking just can't stop. So, what I am contemplating doing, and this will be with you guys in chat also if you would like to see this, I myself am thinking of opening a page to show just exactly what has happened to my family. You see, there's been some people that's tried to stick up for me, but unfortunately, they did not have the platform that I have. I have thousands of you that will see everything. So now what I am contemplating doing is making a page for all of you all to see what is going on. It's not going to be an attack page. It's not going to be a filthy page. It's going to be an exact truth page. The only difference is there's going to be thousands of people that are going to see it. You know, God talks about the darkness shall be brought to the light, and I've been praying about this, and I believe it's time for people to see the true side of what's happened. I've laid back and I've tried to be humble, but every time I turn around, I'm brought in as this person, that person, this person, that person. There's so much evidence that contradicts that, not from my mouth, but from their own mouths. It's going to be made. I'm not sure what I'm going to call the page yet, guys, but it's probably going to be something along the lines of the lies that have been told about my family. And there is numerous things that have been sent to me. If you all in chat are interested in that, and the reason that I would separate that away from these other two pages is because if you don't want to read it and you don't want to see it, I'm not going to bring it to you. You're not going to see it. It's going to be by your own click of that page to join that page that you'll see it. It'll be your choice. Otherwise, you're going to get wide open adventures here and you're going to get cryptids on the other. And if you want to see the rest, you can go to that page because that's where it'll be. I tried to be quiet. I've tried to keep, out of it, but unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be working. So if you would like to see me make that page, drop a 1 in the chat if you're interested. And with that being said, I'm going to bring in Jessie real quick. She may have something she wants to say. But if you would like to see that page being made, just drop a 1. Woo, we got some big pictures up there tonight. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, it's sad to hear that this channel is being reported to. They just can't. They can't stop. It's not in them. They won't stop.
It pushed me over the line tonight whenever I went to click on it. And because of mass reporting on an outdoor channel that has nothing to do with anything, that the link was removed. I had to make this link last minute for us even to be able to go on to do this. And, I've remained quiet. I have remained peaceful. And for months now, I have stayed out of it. And guess what? They've made the biggest mistake ever because I have thousands of people that are going to see it, that are going to spread it, not just a few hundred.
Yeah. Well,
And I spoke to a friend of mine tonight, and he came to the same thing as I did. It's time to put it out to the masses.
let them see the
And
truth. Yeah.
that's what he said. Let them see it by the thousands. So that's what we're going to be doing. Enough of that. Tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about. I will be putting the link to the new page that I'm making. I will put the link underneath the YouTube of this in the posts link. It'll be under abnormal under the post link, and we'll put it in our Facebook pages, guys, so everybody will be able to find it. And I'll probably even drop that link in my videos I'm going to be dropping daily too, so we can get maximum exposure. And I'm sure that our moderators will be glad to drop it, and our boots on the ground that are seeing 12 to 13,000 views every time. So I'm sure we can get a lot of that out there. So that is my
Mi-
goal.
Michael Deere asked you a question.
What does Michael Deere want to know?
Can you name names also?
Absolutely, Michael Deere. There will be names in that page, without a doubt. Absolutely. 100%, undeniably.
Yeah. I think it's only fair. They take half truth, half lies, and twist them completely around to smear, and they can get away with it. Well,
No longer.
good for you.
No longer.
Mm-hmm.
I sat back. I kept
Mm-hmm.
my peace. I was
Yeah.
humble. I let them talk. I let them do it. But enough's enough. And like
Yeah.
I said, it's not an attack page. It's not going to be an attack page. That is not what that page will be. That page will be 100% truth. I'm not going to allow memes on that page. I'm not going to allow little clippets from the internet of things that do not pertain to that subject. It will be a strict 100%. Here is the evidence.
Good.
That's where it will. I'm not going to waste people's times with watching memes or unfounded accusations and allegations. We're better than that. We're above that, and we will state the truth, backed up by the evidence of not preponderance evidence, but beyond a reasonable doubt, as our criminal system requires. So that's where it's going to go. And like I said, I tried not to do it, but unfortunately, they have pushed me now to reach out to the thousands, and it's going to spread like wildfire. I'm telling you.
All right.
Michael Deere, there will be names. Yes, named. In particular, I will have some very strong moderators in that page that will have strict guidelines given out by me. And as time the truth is put out there, I also welcome anyone that has anything they would like to send in. If they have videos, screenshots, anything, send it to me. I'm to that point. Anything. I'm going to air it out. I'm tired of being lied about. I'm tired of being attacked. And I'm tired of, the accusations and everything. And what's funny is the allegations they're saying is not correct, but we won't go into all that. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So what we're going to talk about tonight, let me get Randy in here now that I'm done ranting. I didn't want to bring Randy in on the ranting. Randy wants no part of that. So I respect Randy as he is a fair man that loves his cats, as everybody knows. Welcome to the show, Mr. Marine. How are you today?
Peachy, good evening. Wide Open Adventures. Thank y'all for joining the show, and we hope Mike doesn't get bit while he's showing us what not to do while handling spiders.
Nope, no live spiders tonight.
Hey,
Oh,
I have to ask for the viewers, how's Mama and Baby doing?
they're fine.
Good.
Good. Dawn Moore, yes, there will be everything. There is people everywhere that's grabbing all kinds of information. I just got sick of it, sick of the lies. All right, so how many people in chat have had a run-in? Let me get us moved over here real quick. Kaylee would not join us tonight. Tried to get her to.
Oh, what a bum.
I
Still want
know.
to see that shaved head.
I know. She won't do it.
She
So
shaved her head? Why?
she shaved it.
Why did
One
she shave her head?
Just one side of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to do that next, Mike. Me Twinkies.
That's what I should do. I should grow my hair out.
Well, you can. It's a free world, right?
Right. That's right. And it's part of my heritage. You know, my Native American heritage. They grow their hair out. Uh, how many people have ran into this feller? I've seen that little feller just about everywhere. I think I've had countless encounters with him. He has bitten me before, and I was always scared of him. But I learned something. They can actually bite you, and your immune system sometimes can just take care of it. It's not always a bad bite, but when it is a bad bite, that's whenever it gets really bad. It says the eggs that they lay are a off-white silken case in a sheltered dark areas where the spiders live. The cases are approximately 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch in diameter. In the summer, spiderlings emerge from the egg cases 24 to 36 days. They can have around 40 babies. As soon as they're born, they are in search for food. They reach maturity within 10 to 12 months. The spiders are capable of surviving for long periods of time without food or water, and the female spiders may live 1 to 3 years, but some have been found to live up to 5 years. The spiders are most active at night when you sleep. They love to come out and search for food. They love warm pillows and warm blankets, along with warm shoes and warm clothes. They like to be in bathrooms, bedrooms, closets, basements, cellars, attics, as well as under your furniture. So if you're taking a nap in your chair at night, you may have one come out to eat while you're sleeping in that chair.
Mm.
They're found in barns and sheds and garages almost everywhere. So these little fellers are a menace. Have you been bitten by one?
Nope, I have not.
What about you, Randy?
Is that the one with they rot the skin where they bite you at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been bit with those.
Yep. They also call them fiddlebacks, also brown recluse or a fiddleback.
Nasty bites. Literally,
Yeah.
the wound in the center starts to the flesh starts to rot. It stinks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle was working on a vehicle one time, and one fell out from underneath the vehicle, landed on his upper leg, and it bit him, and he ended up with like a baseball size hole plumb through the top of his leg, where they had to like cut it all out and everything. He almost lost his leg. He ran a fever. He got sepsis from the bite. So they can be a really bad bite.
Especially if gone untreated.
Oh, yeah. So you don't want to pick them up and try to play the fiddle for sure.
And they don't make good
So-
pets.
Is the fiddle image supposed to be underneath?
No, it's right there on top. You see where the eyeballs are at? And then you have, looks like the fiddle, and then you have the back of the fiddle going toward its abdomen.
I was looking at his butt.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the fiddle part goes over their eyes and then comes back and then goes
Yep.
into the stem of the fiddle.
Now I see it. Upside down. Yep, I see it. Ugh.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I looked because I saw Don had asked if they were in Florida, and I know that they're in I know they're pretty much in southern states, and I know that they have been seen here in Wisconsin, but I wasn't sure like how far up. But it looks like pretty much southern Wisconsin, and then all the way across. It's like there seems to be like that line, and then they are, yeah, not so much like upper Michigan, Minnesota, maybe in Minnesota.
Just look for the fiddle.
Yep.
And one thing you learn here in Oklahoma, you always, before you put your shoes on, you turn them upside down and shake them just in case.
Yeah.
I would be
Yes.
scared though. Like you turn your shoes up down and shake them. What's the chances of them like hanging on? Like, oh, earthquake, and they're just like waiting. Stick
Well,
your
the
toes
one
in.
time I didn't shake mine out, I got bit on the top of my left foot and left a nickel-sized hole in there. And
Oh,
that's actually in the hospital and stuff. And those things are
mm-mm,
just natural. So you got to check around here.
Wow,
mm-hmm.
Mindy. Mindy knows a guy that had the same thing done, and he had to take physical therapy.
Wow.
Pretty bad bite. And then it says the effects of the bite is the brown recluse. It says is not an aggressive spider and normally bites only when pressure is applied to it. People are often bitten when they put on clothing or shoes in which a spider is hiding, when they roll over on a spider in bed, or when they clean a storage area and the spider is inhabiting it. Individuals react differently to the bite. Some people may not be aware of the bite for 2 to 3 hours, while others may have an immediate painful reaction. A stinging sensation is usually followed by an intense pain. Within 8 hours, a small pus-filled blister usually rises, and the large area around the bite becomes red and swollen. The victim may become restless and feverish and have difficulty sleeping. The local pain is frequently quite intense, and the skin area surrounding the bite remains red and hard to the touch for some time, and gradually slows away, exposing the underlying muscle grafts. Skin grafts are often necessary to repair severe damage caused by these spiders. The healing on these is a slow process. It takes 6 to 8 weeks without prompt medical attention, and the end result of a bite can be a sunken in scar, ranging from the size to a penny to amputation.
Wow.
The spider which caused the bite should be captured for positive identification, as yet specific antivenom is not available for treatment. Therefore, both local and systemic reactions have been treated symptomatically. These spiders are very dangerous, especially to children and elders with compromised immune systems. So
No
we
bueno.
we don't want that to happen.
Hey, Mike, are you going to demonstrate some of these things? Like check your shoes, stuff like that.
Nope, nope, nope. We don't got none of those. I'm gonna send all those to Jesse in the mail.
Mm-mm. Yep.
Hey, be
I'll
sure to
pass.
order some of those candles with those snake heads in the
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
watch the head close as the candle melts down. Wouldn't that be creepy?
she definitely wants some of those.
I'll pass. I
I think
will
she,
pass.
I think she wanted the ones with the magic little rubies in them. I'm not sure.
You
Hey,
know,
they
they
might
did make.
actually do research. They might actually attract stuff out there in the wilderness. Light
You know,
those candles out there in the woods, see what comes out.
yeah. They
Yeah,
they actually did used to sell candles like that. That when you burnt them down at the very bottom, there would be like a little jewel thing, like a little ring or whatever. That was the whole ploy of the sale of it. But those were out probably like over a decade ago. Those were kind of cool.
wow.
Just saying. Anyways, moving on.
So the next spider we're going to talk about, before my computer decided that it was going to shut down for a second, I have to reload this up here.
Oh, it don't like you talking bad about spiders, evidently, Mike.
I'm guessing it's been one of those days. I hope our live at 8:45 tonight is not going to be anything like this.
Well, be sure to restart before the next show.
Yeah, definitely. There she is. How many knows this one?
Yep. Yep.
Was that a widowmaker?
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. They
Yeah.
actually have a neurotoxin. One drop of their venom is 10 times more potent than a rattlesnake's.
Oh.
Now imagine coming across one the size of a dog. I've heard some caves, some people exploring caves, they came across some that said that they were as big as dogs, small dogs.
What?
Yeah, it was a YouTube video or something I was watching. These it's a story, whether or not it's true or not. But supposedly they came across these large spiders that was big as dogs.
Now, I've heard of people coming across large black widow nests, which that's a nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Well, it does say that they are one of the spiders that are known to be able to infest an area, to totally infest an area.
Mm-hmm.
And they will, listen to this, tell me if this ain't scary, they will attack to protect their area.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that gives me creeps. Heebie-jeebies.
You know, I
So,
can remember going to school and they talked about spiders couldn't get very big because of their shell and stuff like that. But when you think about everything else that they lied to us about, do we believe anything that they taught us in the
Right.
public school about the world that we live in? Looking at they've already lied to us about everything else, just about. Just
Right.
something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Roman said they are aggressive. I don't like those kind of spiders at all. It says the black widow is generally considered the most venomous spider in North America, native to North America. The spider, the female injects a neurotoxin venom which commonly gives rise to a severe set of symptoms. The bite itself is usually similar to a pinprick, which makes them even more dangerous. Some people don't even know they're bitten. The bite itself is usually similar as to a rattlesnake bite. It can cause, this is what's scary, guys, the symptoms of this spider bite. Oh my God. Okay. The pain from the spider bite is excruciating once the venom sets in, with just within a few minutes. And it spreads from the point of the bite to the arms, legs, chest, back, and abdomen. Within a few hours, symptoms such as chills, vomiting, difficulty in respiration, sometimes requiring intubation, profuse perspiration, delirium, paralysis, violent abdominal cramps, pains, and spasms may result. Also, anaphylaxis is reported in a lot of their bites. Violent abdominal cramps are so bad and so severe sometimes that the patients must be put into a coma. Reports indicate that mortality rates from black widow bites in the United States due to our medical care is actually less than 1% or less cases, with very young or very old individuals are at the greatest risks of up to 35% mortality rate.
Oh, wow.
Of course, the mortality rate rises the more bites that you receive from one or the family of these that may attack to defend an area. Multiple bites, of course, rise the chance that you will not survive it or have lasting. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is something I just don't even want to mess with.
Oh, come on,
That
show us how to hold one safely. Come on, Mike. Where's your sense of
Mm.
adventure?
you put them in a jar with a lid and preferably a cotton ball with yeah,
You
that's
know,
some
it's
uh,
no wonder why I've seen people where they're like, "Oh, I saw one in my house. I'm going to get the gasoline." Like, I ain't even dealing with it. Oh,
them are terrible. I would not want to be bit by that thing. The On the other hand, though, the male black widow looks nothing like the female. It says they are actually brown and can be misidentified as a brown house spider.
now are they just as poisonous?
Yep.
Oh, do you have a picture of those?
Nope. I didn't grab one.
Well, what
I
the
did.
heck?
It says that they look like so many other brown spiders. It's really hard to determine. The males are just look like a brown house spider. It says.
Well, how are you supposed to know to avoid it?
avoid all brown spiders.
Just avoid spiders in general. Okay, well, I'm going to do a little plug here. I will say, one of the best things that I ever got for bugs and stuff in the and around the house, like when I moved in, the house had been empty prior to moving in for almost 2 years, and it's called Bug Barrier. It actually works on like ants and centipedes, spiders, everything, and you spray it along the outside of your house and then the inside of the house. And after like it dries after an hour, it's actually pet safe. And then you do it around your windowsills and stuff too, and it lasts for I think like 6 months. And then you just do another 6 month application. And when I say it will kill everything that goes through that barrier or tries to go through that barrier, I kid you not, because when I sprayed that stuff and I came back about a week later when we were painting the house, sound gross, but there were spiders and centipedes and everything just dead along the bottom of the floor that had all just died and dropped. I mean, I was vacuuming up bug carcasses for days, but it
Uh,
works. Bug
Ro-
barrier.
Roman says the male is actually not as venomous as the females.
Well, that is good to know.
That
Very good.
makes that makes sense too. But moving on.
Just want to get one of the pet, don't it?
Yeah. Uh,
Just teaching it not to bite you. Don't bite me. Don't bite. They just don't listen.
that is what you don't want. You don't want to get a bite from them. So if you're going to go camping, with the kids or whatever, make sure you shake out their bedrolls, their pillows, look and all that kind of stuff, because they also like to hide and they are an ambush predator. They like to ambush. It says the one thing about them, though, is they normally do not build a suspended web. It's usually a web behind something or in a hole. They're not as likely to be exposed. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Tyler. Good to see you.
Yes, Michelle, bug barrier is great.
You sure don't want to take a bite from, especially a child. You would not want a child to take a bite from any one of these spiders.
Who's talking about
Definitely.
taking a bite from spider? Oh, taking a
Yeah, you don't want to take a bite from one. It's okay. We know you're from the north. That you get a hall pass.
Okay,
You
so
know
for
what?
us Northerners, what you're saying is you don't want to get bit by one of these
Right.
spiders.
Since we have so many spiders in Oklahoma, maybe you can start making like chocolate covered spiders. As a
Oh
Oh
no!
yeah. It could be like eating the puffer fish. Do you really
yeah.
want to roll the dice?
Nope, nope. Not playing that camera roulette.
I ate that spider. I can't feel my tongue.
That's why I don't eat sushi. I like my fish cooked.
Yeah, yeah.
All it takes is you get one bad piece and you're dead.
I want to fish the Red River. Is one of the places I want to fish.
Oh yeah.
That is on
We
the
used to
bucket
go
list.
when I was a kid with my uncles and brothers and cousins. We'd go down there in the summertime and stay a weekend or so. And we caught some big catfish, blue cat, yellow cats, channel cats. There's some huge catfish.
Yeah. I'm all about that. I get that ambulance, Randy. I'm on my way. I'll bring the bait. I can bring all the
Hey,
perch.
you
All
go
the perch we can use.
You go fishing the red. That's like an hour from me. Let me know. I'll come join you.
We will. I'll bring all the perch bait that we need. I can bring whatever, head, sides, whatever.
There's all kinds of lakes around here where you can catch perch and shad and stuff like that for catfishing. I love using live bait. I've caught the biggest catfish on live bait, like perch and stuff like that.
Oh
I've
yeah.
had some spider wire broke in some of these lakes around here.
I think we need
And
to plan a fishing trip.
I haven't been fishing in probably a decade.
Oh my
Really?
god!
Yeah, the people I used to go fishing with, they kind of passed away from COVID. So,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
and the last time
Well,
I went out and sat on the lake with my back facing the woods, about I was out there at Lake Humphrey one night about 10 years ago, and I had my Doberman Pinscher with me. In about 45 minutes, the hair on the back of my neck was standing straight up, and my Doberman was on alert. And after about 45 minutes of that, I packed up and we went home, and I haven't been back. I don't know what it was, but something out there was like my spider sense was tingling the entire time I was out there, and that was before I knew about werewolves were real. So I don't know what the hell it was, but something. And where I like to fish on Lake Humphrey, there's a baby cemetery. Most of the people were children in that cemetery, and it's extremely haunted out there at night. But especially by yourself, I wouldn't recommend going fishing by yourself out there. But that's why I had nobody to go, and I just got to where it wasn't. I didn't feel safe out there alone, so I quit going. And that was before I had encounters with werewolves.
Wow. So how close are you? I can't think of the name of the lake right offhand. The lake down, it would be east of Coweta. How close are you to that lake? I never can think of the name of it.
I would have to look on a map.
It's a big lake.
I'm not even familiar. You know what town it's near?
Coweta. It'd be east of Coweta.
Is that
it's a
C, the
C
city name
with the C. I think it's I've been there a few times. I actually swam there. It's a big lake. I fished it one time. We done okay there. What was the name of that lake? Fort Gibson.
Yeah, I know where Fort Gibson.
I think it's Fort Gibson.
Yeah, that's not too far away.
You know what you ought to do, Randy, is we need to get you moved up here, into my area, and then we could just go down to Ulagal and we could fish and we could go boots on the ground.
That'd be fun. Well, eventually we will be moving. We just don't know where yet.
Right.
I'd like to move up north away from, where we're at currently. I really don't like living within 50 foot of where I sleep. That's just not much fun. Especially when they come up and claw about 3 o'clock in the morning. They'll come up and they'll knock on or tap on the damn air conditioning unit or claw the wall where your head's at. It's like they're just like evil little kids. They've got a sick sense of humor. I think these are the juveniles doing that.
Right.
But it's like I'm going to go out there to find out.
Right. I'm not sure, CRJ. I just want to go to the Red River. I'd like to fish the Mississippi. That's on my bucket list. I used to want to be able to get a pontoon boat and take it up the Vertigra and go to some of those locations that people can't reach on foot and fish some of those areas, that are not fished, those little pockets and bends and stuff, and along those caves and high cliffs and stuff that people can't get to. I think, man, there ain't no telling what you'd pull out of there. And, man, all you'd have to do is just pack you like a big ice chest, put you some onions and everything in there. You catch the fish, you clean them, you cook them fresh with all your fresh garden vegetables and everything, and you just have a fun time.
You ever been to Texoma? Have you been fishing Lake Texoma?
Never been there either.
Lake. It's a huge lake.
I've been to Eufaula. I haven't fished it, but I have been to the Eufaula Lake. It's the largest man-made lake in Oklahoma. It's a lot of fresh water with a little bit of E. coli.
Well, the last time I grew up swimming in these lakes here in Oklahoma, in southern Oklahoma. But 1999, me and my wife were dating at the time, and we went to Lake Clear Creek and we went swimming, and we caught a cold. Well, the water was normal levels. It wasn't too dry or nothing. There was no algae outbreaks. And a couple of weeks later, we went back and we got a cold again, and we quit going. Now if we go swim, we go to a swimming pool, and we don't get sick. But if we go out to the lake and we end up getting a cold or something. So I don't know what's in the water, but it's not the same as when we were kids.
Well, I don't know. I have a you know, question. If you ask my daughter, she'll swear by it. But when she would actually go for swimming lessons, because she got really good at swimming, and she'd go like twice a week to swimming class, and it never failed. She would always wake up the next morning with, I mean, she would be sick. She would feel groggy and run down and sore throat, slight fever, and it would take like 2 days for it to pass. But then she'd go swimming the next week. And it wasn't always bad. It was usually and then I found out about the whole chlorine smell. But it was usually when we would go into the pools and there would be that high pool smell that she'd end up being sick.
I've never had trouble swimming in a pool. I used to swim in the pools all the time. I love going to the pool. That was just one of the fun things we used to do. I about drowned my friend there, but we used to do crazy. We used to do crazy stuff.
And you don't have to worry about alligators and sharks too much in pools.
That's
Yeah.
Now, New Orleans, you always have to check the pool before you climbed into it because there could be an alligator in there waiting on you.
Or in Oklahoma, they say that Ulagal Lake is supposed to have, the octopus.
Yeah.
They say that it claims lives every year.
Hey, there's your boots on the ground investigation. But be sure you bring bait, preferably Jesse or Amanda.
I was thinking is what I could do is take one of them and tie them to one of those fishing inner tubes where your feet hang below it, and just like troll through the trees. It'd be like a big bobber. I'll be like, oh, the motor's not working real good. You might have to kick your feet a little to help out. Make a little commotion.
You have shark hooks dangling underneath them on the ropes to catch whatever, take a bite out of them. Why is the shark? Oh, no.
I don't know why Mike keeps chumming the water. I'm tired of all these dead fish going past us. and Mike didn't bring any fishing poles. All he brought was two large hay hooks.
I like that. There's a joke about some game ranger trying to get this guy. He knows he's fishing illegal, and he gets out there in a boat and catches him. The guy lights a stick of dynamite, gives it to the rangers, and says, "Are you going to talk or are you going to fish?"
You couldn't pay. You could not pay me enough to let somebody pull me through that lake down there in one of those inner tubes. There ain't enough money in the world.
You're taking a chance in a small boat, according to some divers in some of these lakes in Oklahoma. I mean, if they're big enough to swallow a man, they can dang sure tip over a small boat.
I mean, look at all the stories of the people that came in and said they were out late night fishing in a regular, bass boat. And they, there's a lot of stories. They say, I walked to the front of my boat, to get something, and there's an eye under the water over here and an eye under the water on the other side of the boat, wider than the boat.
Mm-mm.
That would scare the hell out of me. I don't know about you. I'd be like, we need a bigger boat.
Yeah. And Ulagal Lake, what's the deepest point? Like, I think it's 120 feet is the deepest point. So, I mean, that's some pretty deep water. I mean, something could definitely take you down there, and it may be a while before somebody finds you, if they ever do.
Something can drown you in knee-deep water if it's large enough.
Oh, yeah. One of those massive flatheads. And now they're getting those, what are they called? Bowfins and snakeheads now? We're starting to get a lot of those.
You got that river monster guy. He came down here when they were doing that noodling. He did an episode here in Oklahoma on large catfish, and there was a guy that he interviewed that got grabbed by something, and he thought he was going to be eating breakfast with Jesus the next morning because he didn't think he was going to survive that.
I remember that episode. Yeah, that was a good one.
We had a kid a couple of years ago was noodling, and he was shoving his feet in a pipe. His friends were grabbing him, shoving him into like his chest and stuff to try to get the snake or the fish to bite him. And the fish bit him, and when it did, it pulled him out of their hands and into the pipe, and he ended up drowning in the pipe.
when I was 16, I was doing that, and I stuck my hand in this hole, and I had a catfish come up and grab me almost to my elbow and pulled me in the hole with him.
Yeah.
I had wrestling me from the catfish. That I never did that crap again. I only catch fish for rod and reel now. They're not going to eat me.
I think what people don't understand is when you go noodling, you're not catching the fish; it's catching you.
You are the bait, literally.
Yeah, it's trying to eat you.
You're sticking your hand in there, hoping it's going to chomp down on you, and hopefully it's not a big snapping turtle in that hole, because you can lose your hand.
or a nest of water moccasins up in there.
There's some monster snapping turtles in Oklahoma.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
I remember I was in Birmingham. My grandfather, he had this one turtle that surfaced. The head on it was like that big around. Just the head. You can see the shadow of the body, and then it looked like a small beetle. That's how big the turtle was, the snapping turtle was. I've never seen a turtle. And I used to go swimming in that water. I never went swimming back again after that. I mean,
gives a whole new meaning to the song Turtle Creek.
I'm not kidding. I remember one time I had some fish. There were 2 and 3 pound catfish on a little stringer, and I came back and there was nothing but heads left. Everything else was gone.
Wow.
That's all that was left was just the heads, and there was a clean bite.
Well, I reached down one time to get my catfish out of a basket after fishing all night, and I just had some like little 2-pounders, 1.5-pounders, in a basket. Luckily, my headlamp shined down in there, and there was 2 water moccasins in there with them. I about stuck my hand down there.
Yeah, those snakes can get in those fish baskets.
Yeah, that was not a fun.
Did you ever go seining? You take a net and you drag it to catch bait or whatever. They would always sit me. They'd always sit me on the deep end because I was the tallest, but I hated that. Especially in in New Orleans, man, you never knew what would be in that damn net. But I'd have to keep the back of the net up above the water so nothing would jump out, whether it was a gator or not.
might snag a body.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to be, and then you can feel stuff hitting you from the net because you're holding the net up so nothing can jump out. You couldn't pay me enough to get in that swamp water anymore to do that kind of stuff. No way.
I don't think I would want to either. There's stuff
when we lived in New Orleans, we'd go swimming in the swamps. You could go early morning when it was cool before the gators started moving. Once they started going off the banks after they would absorb the sun and heat their bodies up, and they started moving away from the bank, it was time to get out of the water. You couldn't pay me enough to do that now. That was just stupid. We didn't know better.
Well, I think when we're younger, we think that we're more invincible because I look at things I done younger that I wouldn't do now, I'm like, man, that was not a real smart idea. But back then, I remember the older guy saying, y'all shouldn't be doing that. You're crazy. And was like, this ain't bad. Come on, dude. We do it all the time, And now I'm the old man saying, y'all shouldn't be doing that.
Well, look at how many people, at least one person drowns in Oklahoma every year from noodling. I think that's statistically. Right.
And then you got these older guys that never did grow up, and they're like, scoot over, kids. Let me show you how it's done,
And then you got people coming up missing, and we don't know, was it natural causes or something else?
Well, Oologah Lake has, they say that big octopus in it, and there's a lot of people that say that, Oologah Lake has multiple drownings a year from very good swimmers, and they're saying now that they believe that the octopus is what's drowning them because they said they have found tentacle marks on their legs and arms.
I wonder if it's more than just one. I mean, if it's a species of an octopus, if there's a pair of them, there's going to be more than one.
Right. I guess my question would be, do octopuses, do they have to have a male to have babies, or do they just to have babies?
I'm not sure. I'm not an octopus expert. I think Jesse could probably know that with all that she knows. I'm kidding.
She is a woman. I'm sure she knows.
I'm just kidding.
And that was the last show on Wide Open Adventures.
Do you know anything? I don't know. Does in the audience know whether an octopus needs a male or female, or are they asexual and can reproduce on their own?
I
do
don't
not
believe
know.
that they are asexual. No.
No, they're not a worm.
Hold on.
I
I
think
know
they
that
require.
I've seen many different documentaries on octopus and stuff, but 1 second. Let me see.
And
Well, if
yes,
you look,
I was just
some of
going to
the
tell Romans, I want to go deep sea fishing.
if you look at some of those maps, the charts dated back hundreds of years old. Ink was very expensive back then, and they wouldn't waste ink drawing a monster if it didn't exist.
Right.
And you go back and look at some of those monsters on some of those maps, and then we're told, oh, that's just their, legend or whatever. They wouldn't waste money on ink on something if it didn't exist.
Male and female octopuses both die soon after mating. Males die a few months after, while the female dies shortly after the eggs hatch. So it would not be smart for a monster octopus to mate.
No. How long are these? Do we know how long an octopus lives, and do we know how long these attacks? Have these attacks been going on longer than the average lifespan of a single octopus?
I think these attacks have been reported since the 70s.
Well, then that's not. How long does an octopus live?
Common octopus's lifespan is an average of 3 to 5 years.
No way it's making the attack. Now it could be a different. It may be something.
So we have multiple octopuses in there, if that's the case.
It would have to be.
That is the difference. Or it's a different species that we don't know.
Yeah.
It's aggressive, whatever it is.
If it's a prehistoric creature that resembles an octopus, I mean, what if it's a large squid, right?
Because if you remember, the earth was flooded, and there's proof of that. But not everything in the sea. I don't believe all the sea creatures died.
Right.
So very well could have survived to modern day. Look at Loch Ness. Right. What is in that lake? Do we have any pictures? Hey, can you do any kind of investigation to see what any evidence that's out there for a future show? That would be kind of cool to find out about this octopus drowning people since 1970. That's an old octopus.
Or what? I guess what you could do is get a boat, find out what an octopus likes to eat, and go out and just float the lake with that bait on there.
It seems to be liking people. I think dragging somebody on a little bitty tube would be perfect for that reason.
Get one of those frozen chum blocks. Here, hold on to this. It'll cool you off. I know it's hot out here.
Your pork chop necklace? Yeah, that'd be great.
What is the lifespan of a squid?
5 years. Same as the octopus. But they lay thousands of eggs at one time.
So it might just not be a single octopus. It might be multiple attacking when these people get drowned.
What if it's something like the Eliod in them, and it's something that has a corrupted DNA that just has octopus tentacles?
Very well, but that would require an investigation.
Like Ursula?
Yeah.
Well, we know Leviathan is in the Bible, and God's going to release Leviathan during tribulation is to go down to people who's at the bottom of the sea thinking they're safe, but they're going to find out the hard way. So if a Leviathan, who knows what other creatures that we don't know exist? I mean,
I know somebody that knows how to find him. But
But that's for another show.
I couldn't help it. That was too
Links
easy.
to the page to follow.
Guys, I think we're going to wrap this one up. We got another show tonight at 8:45, but we're all going to be on. We're doing an investigation on a report that I called and I took, and you are not going to believe what happened in this one. This one is sad. I will tell you that it is sad.
You only have 2 venomous spiders in Oklahoma?
We have more than that, but that's the only 2 that really pose a risk as far as complications or death. That I didn't know this. The tarantula is venomous, but
Hey, Mike.
it's not considered anything worse than like a wasp. Any spider, guys, venomous, non-venomous, can cause a secondary infection and also can cause anaphylaxis. So just because it is not a venomous spider does not mean it is not a dangerous spider.
Speaking of spiders, I remember it was probably 10 years ago. There were tarantulas migrating through Oklahoma, and they were everywhere. There was like millions of them.
We still have them like that, dude, on our highway out here. They're all over it. All over it.
But I've only seen that once in a blue moon. That was, I don't remember what year that was, but me and my wife were driving home one day, and they were everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And that was like, it was like a horror show.
If you would like, I could make you a candle out of one. I could go catch one and send it to you.
I'll pass.
I've already got Jesse one made for Christmas, and it's even got a special little heart in it too that you sew in there.
Nope.
But that's creepy. Be by spiders everywhere you look. That was.
I was telling Jesse, I saw something the other day that really bothered me. In Branson, Missouri, there was this little shop now, and you take your kids there, and they get to pick out a bear they want. Like, it's kind of like, but not where you make your own bear. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to get sued. But you can go make your own bear, right? So you get your bear picked out, and this lady sitting in a chair, and she's got all of her thick makeup on, and her, her necklaces, and all of her gold rings and everything, But anyways, she's sitting there, and the kid gets a heart, and she tells the little kid, "Do what I do, say what I do." And they're like, all the energy in the room go into this heart, and they do this spell, and then they take that heart, stick it into that bear, and then they give it to the magical seamstress, and they sew it into the bear, and the magic and everything is sewn into the bear. And as long as you have that bear, you can fill it full of energy.
Yeah, that's no bueno. No bueno. Yeah.
What is this right here?
Somebody was promoting something?
I'm not sure.
I've seen that icon before. I think that's yeah.
Does it need to go?
Yeah, it needs to go.
Moderators, please ban that if you could. Not time out or anything. Just go ahead and ban that. That's Jowls, guys. Jowls is in here again. We've had to ban him. Jowls is back. One of his fake accounts.
Yep. He's got to do it.
Yep, that many fake accounts, guys. They just keep hitting us with fake accounts. Bye,
trolls
Jowls.
himself and trolls everybody else. Yep.
Yeah.
Bye, Jowls.
Talks to himself. That's a mental problem. Bye, Jowls. Well, guys, I think we're going to jump off here. We're going to get ready for our other show. You are not going to want to miss it. Randy, you're going to enjoy it. I know you're really going to enjoy it. It's got a mystery to it, and we're going to let y'all try to figure out what happened. It is sad. I will tell you that the gentleman that gave me this story, he was emotional.
Well, he's probably going to get unalived if it's that sad.
Well, it was unemotional. Hello, Amandy. Amandy's in here. Amanda Hug and Kiss showed up.
Is she going to join us on the next one?
Yes, she is. She doesn't have a choice. If you miss one, you got to be in the other. Remember, this is not a democracy on this channel.
What you say goes, right?
That's right. And nobody questions me, or you get banned immediately. What is it? The Great and Mighty Oz. Do not look behind the curtain. Because behind the curtain, I'm just a cowardly old fat man. So, do y'all got anything you want to say before we take off? Get ready for the next show at 8:45?
Nope, just got to go fill up my water bottle.
Randy, sir, would you have anything that you would like to add?
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here in Wide Open Adventures. We hope you enjoyed the show and hope you learned something about spiders. Fortunately, Mike didn't get bit tonight by a spider, so he doesn't have to go to the hospital, so he'll be able to make the next show. God bless you. Good night. And see you soon.
All right, guys, we're going to get off here. We got another show coming up at 8:45. I'm going to have to switch the equipment around, all my un-HD cameras, and get them set up so that we can do our next show and my faulty volume equipment and all that kind of stuff, audio equipment. So I'm going to get all that set up, guys. We will see you on the next one. Don't miss it. I promise you, it's a good one. I thought it was not as in good as in it was a good, but as far as an encounter, okay? We're not saying that what happened was good, but you'll see what I mean. Tim, thank you for the hearts for the boys. Amanda, glad you was able to come in at least at the end and say hello to everybody. Everybody, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Right? Better late than never, right?
That's right. All right, guys. We love you guys. Thank you for the support, and we'll see y'all on the next one. God bless.
God bless everyone.